Hello, everybody. It's Chandler Klebs, and I'm doing a Hangout, Google Hangout right now. And originally, I was going to be talking with Pafa Ortiz or Ortiz, whatever you call him. But it's 8 a.m. where he's at because it's like about 10 a.m. here. So yeah, it's early for him, a little bit too early for him. So I don't think he'll be joining me, but I sent him the link just in case he does. But what I'm going to do for this hangout is I'm going to screen share. Um, yeah, it's going to look very weird here. Whoa, that looks freaky. But I'm going to screen share because I want to show you this art project I'm working on in Inkscape. This is going to be the weirdest looking thing. Okay. So first of all, these are 36-sided regular polygons. And so then what I did is I connected the corners here. See, like, for example, I connected the corners in such a sort of diagonalish way like that. So that's what I did. And I did it with each of these from one to the next. There's actually 13 of these 36-sided regular polygons, and they get smaller. So you'll see this one is a width of 720, then 660, and then 600, 540. So it goes down by 60 in its total size in pixels each time. Now, people see my art, but they don't know all the complicated math that goes into all this nonsense. So anyway, I did this and made these black ones with all of this here. See how this works? So I'm going to select these, and this is going to be very interesting. And there's going to be a hole in the middle because I think there's only so far I can go. Because okay, yeah, I'm gonna make a group of those. But see, this one is 60, so if it goes down by 60, it'll be a size of 0, meaning it won't exist. So yeah, that's kind of freaky. And I'm gonna check and see if Pafo said anything. Okay, he says thanks, man. Yeah, I don't know if he does start joining my hangout, then I probably will see him. But as far as I know, the Google Hangout is recording here. Yeah, I'm broadcasting. Oh, and every time I go there, it does the infinite weird screen sharing thing. Okay, yeah. Anyway, back to Inkscape. I'm excited about this new art project because this is going to be really freaky. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, and then if I do this, oh, cool. Yep, that's how I had it in mind. By rotating it exactly 20 degrees, it makes it go there. So that's what I love about Inkscape is I can rotate things the exact number of degrees I want, and then I can snap them. So see, I have this, but then it snaps into the right position. Oh man, this is gonna look so freaky. In case you can't tell, I'm a little bit hyper about this. Whoa, freaky, yeah. So yeah, so I'm going to place these here, and this is going to be amazing, but I don't know what to call this yet. This is a very bizarre, it's kind of checkerboard looking, I love chessboards, checkerboards, that kind of thing, where it's all black and white. And so that's kind of what this is here. But yeah, this is just a little bit freaky, man. So yeah, I'm going to do this all the way around. Let me see here. Oh yeah, those polygons are not in a group. I want all of these original polygons to be in a group, so I have to select each one of them. Okay, there's 12 of them. I thought there was 13. Okay, that's a little weird. Let me see here. 12 of them. I thought there was 13. Whatever, I miscounted. Okay, because when I do that, yeah, then they all. Okay, so now let me go back. Now that I've grouped those, see that's important because if I want to remove those objects from the drawing, because you'll see it provides a little bit of a stroke feature. Well, that's cool actually. I mean, it looks good. So, I mean, I could keep it that way just so that when I publish the picture, people will see the outside stroke there. So, yeah, I guess I don't need to be that picky about it, but I've grouped it nonetheless. So, okay, so those are in place. I'm going to put that there, and that's what I do. I use the transform tab a lot. I do Control Shift plus M. I like how it conveniently shows the keyboard shortcuts. And there's also other things too. It shows it down here. It shows Control Shift M, Control Shift A, and those are cool. And then there's this other thing called Arrange, and I don't even know what that does. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm opening the Arrange tab. I don't even know what it does. Oops, Inkscape is not responding. Ooh, freaky. Rectangular grid, polar coordinates. No, I don't know what Arrange is, and I don't want to screw up my drawing. Okay, so yeah, so that's there. Okay, yeah, this is looking very amazing. Oh yeah, this is cool. This is going to be one of my official designs here. But as of yet, I don't have the slightest clue what to even call this. So I'll probably just email it to my mom because she's wonderful at coming up with names for my art. Whoa, freaky man. That's the weirdest looking thing ever. Okay. That actually looks very good. Oh, that's strange. Oh, I still have one of these over here. Okay, I can delete that. So now, oh, the entire drawing. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, now I have an idea here. I'm going to set the background color to be gray. Okay, it's going to be, we're going to do 808080FF, which makes it transparent like that, see? So that's one way of doing it here. Okay, this works. So see, now what you see here is we have this part here, but I don't know if I need that or not. In fact, I may not even need this part. I'll just put it over here because I can do that. I can put things over to the side outside of the page, and then they won't display when I render the image. Okay, so here's the thing. Now, here's what I need to do is I simply need to I'm going to select one of these, this biggest polygon. I'm going to copy, I'm going to click over here, paste it, and now see, here's how it's going to work. I will change the color of this one to white, and I will place over the others. I will move it down in position. See how this works? I can lower it down one step. Whoa, but I can lower all the way to the bottom. Yay! Now, isn't that the freakiest thing you ever saw? And I don't even know if there's a way. Yeah, there's the middle that looks a little bit strange, but nonetheless, it looks cool. I mean, I probably need to do something cool with the middle there, but I don't know what to do with that middle yet because. And of course, it's also possible to do an alternate design that uses smaller increments because I was using increments of 60 as I showed you earlier. I could do 30 or even 10 and do other designs similar to this, but using smaller steps, which would mean that the hole in the middle would be smaller than it is in here. But this is actually very cool. So much that I'm definitely going to save this. but right now I'm not entirely sure what to call it. So here's what I'm going to do. Right now, I'm going to, let's see here. Okay, yeah, it'll save in the same folder as the SVGs, but that's all right because later on I'll put it in the PNG folder. But right now I'm just going to export that image. Okay, let's see here. Oh, Papa said, "Oh man, thanks, man. I look and feel like shit right now. My head is pounding and I feel sick. That's how it is whenever I sleep." Man, no wonder that guy doesn't sleep if that's how it feels whenever he sleeps. Okay, yeah. Anyway, okay, there's Snoopy dancing. I was looking at something on Facebook. Oh, okay. Before I leave Facebook, I'm going to come here. And you'll also notice if you look at my Facebook profile picture that I did the square dancers. I call this the square dancers. They're supposed to be dancers, but they're on a grid of squares with a strange illusion. So anyway, I'm just going to make a new new post here of just this picture. And I don't know what I'm going to call this. I haven't the slightest idea what to name this yet. Okay. So yeah, I'll maybe people will comment with names and my mom will probably tell me a good name. She comes up with the best names. So next what I'm going to do. All right. Time to come here. Jamie is always sending me tons of interesting stuff. I'll look at that later. Okay, so I'm going to email myself the SVG file. That's what I do. Untitled new design SVG. Okay, that's descriptive, isn't it? I don't know what to call it. Okay, let me sort these by the date modified because this is the newest thing I've done. So there it is. I'm going to email that file, only 74 kilobytes, to myself. Email things to myself so that I can see how they display. See, on here, it's showing the whole background is white. And the reason for that is because SVG viewers, other than Inkscape, like only Inkscape knows what the background color is supposed to be. So this displays the background is white. So if I email things, they have a tendency to have a white background in my experience, at least when I'm viewing it in Google Chrome. But if I email it to my mom here, then okay, let's see, new design that needs a name. Then what I'll do is instead of sending her the SVG, I will send her the PNG because that will display with the gray background because Inkscape correctly renders things with the background that you set in the that. But I think my mom will like that. Oh, hey, I'll send it to Jason too. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Jason, he's an art therapist. He likes art. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to send that to those people. And it's too bad that Pafo isn't feeling well and can't join me for this hangout. So I think I got to show everybody my art. So let's see now. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to say before I stop this broadcast. Maybe somebody will like this art that I did. Anyway, see, is there anything else I wanted to say? Oh yeah, there was a few things I wanted to say. In fact, stuff I was going to be talking to Pafo if he was able to join me. Here, and I'm still recording. I want to share the importance of words. See, I think that the words we use are important, as much as I don't like to admit it because I hate words and communicating with people. But here's the thing. I become very disturbed at people redefining words, and this has been my problem for a long time, is people redefine free will, for example, to mean something it's been meant historically, and what, you know, the Christians use the term free will as, for example. You know, Daniel Dennett redefines free will, and then similarly people redefine God, you know, as their own thing. And that's why, you know, I still disagree with the use of the word God being used in pantheism, just because that's not what God means to other people. And so it just confuses everybody to say, if somebody asks if they believe in God, and if they say yes, then that person thinks that they mean that they believe in the Christian God, or the Muslim God, or the Jewish God, or the Hindu God, depending on what culture you're in. But I mean, and this is a serious question, like, do you think that, like, and I'm asking anybody can comment with their opinion on this, do you think words are something that they mean whatever people want them to mean, or that what the majority of the population agrees for a word to mean it means? Or do you think that at a certain point after a word has been defined by whoever defined it, because I know all words are made up, but do you think that they should keep the meaning they had? Because this is important for communication. Because, see, there has been a little bit of debate, and I mentioned this in my previous video about the veganism, how it's not a diet. It's not just a health thing, like, oh, I avoid these animal products because it's better for my health to eat only plants. Now, I'm glad, I mean, that's great if people do that, because it is better for their health, and I know that. I know by my own experience it's better to eat a vegan diet. But the vegan diet is not the same as the vegan philosophy. So maybe we should talk about the vegan philosophy versus the vegan diet. Is where you eat only plants. But the vegan philosophy is where you do your best to avoid harming animals, which means not only eating just the plants and not eating the animal products, because that requires, you know, animals to be killed in the process, but also, you know, that means things like no horse racing, for example. And of course, like, leather is another thing, like no leather, which is kind of an interesting thing, because I actually have this belt that was given to me, and I think it might be made out of leather, but I'm not sure what leather even looks like. I'm a little bit confused on that. But anyway, that I didn't pay for that belt. But the thing is, horse racing is something that's been on my mind recently, because you know how I feel about horses. In fact, my mom bought me a new horse calendar. Actually, it's donkeys. Like, almost all of these are donkeys in this new one, but donkeys are the same as a horse as far as I'm concerned. So I wanted to say a few words about this topic, because, see, people, not only do they try to use animals as food, they try to use them as entertainment, you know, for their amusement. And that's what zoos kind of are. You know, zoos are about people, you know, they pay, and other people make a business off of keeping these animals in cages, and then people seeing these animals. And, you know, it's been a long time since I've gone to the zoo. I got to go to the zoo for free as part of a Rediscover outing. And it was cool to see the animals, but they were all depressed. Like, they were in their cages, and, you know, well, I wouldn't call them cages, but they were closed off areas, and they were looking so bored, especially the tiger and the polar bears and those orangutans. It's like they're miserable, because they're just trapped in a zoo, and they see humans staring at them all day, you know. And so it was nice to see these animals I don't usually get to see. But when the next zoo outing was planned, I didn't go. I don't want to go to the zoo anymore, because I don't want to see these animals being confined as just a method for people's entertainment. Same goes for the horse racing. People force these look, people do all kinds of things. They breed these horses and raise these horses just for the purpose of running in races so that people can place their bets on them and all that crap, and people can ride them, and then they whip them if they don't think they're running fast enough. And it's like, it's one of the worst forms of abuse. Certainly not as bad as what happens in the meat and dairy industry, but consider this: a racehorse, it can't run anymore. Let's say it gets too sick or injured or whatever, it can't run anymore. Well, they kill it, and most likely, I actually read somewhere that like they'll just sell it to somebody who eats horse meat, because there are people in the world who eat horse meat. And see, here's the thing about it is, a lot of people are horrified at the idea of people eating horses or cats or dogs because we generally don't view those animals as food. But here's what really hit with me. Like, what really struck me and made me go vegan was the fact that I don't see the difference anymore. Like, such an arbitrary distinction. I mean, for one thing, the fact that I wanted to protect human life, and I was even against abortion, but that I was eating meat at the time, and it never occurred to me the animals were killed. So that's the thing, is first I want to apply the I don't eat humans, so I'm not going to eat the other animals. And then I learned about the dairy and egg and honey and stuff like that. Give it a little bit of backstory. But here's the thing. There's very little difference between a horse and a cow. Like, I know that people, because they grow up in a human society, they value human life more than that of other animals. But when we start comparing between different animals, the different species of animals, and treat pigs differently than dogs, for example, that's even weirder. Like, it's one thing to see a difference between humans and other animals. But when you start comparing dogs and pigs, for example, that's weird. And when you start comparing cows and horses, there's very little difference in the way they live and their behavior. Think about it. They're peaceful herbivores that eat grass. It's very interesting. And so I, as a person who am an extreme horse lover, like, some people, they like cats and some people like dogs, but I really like horses, and that's my thing. And so, because I feel a special thing for horses, and the fact that cows and even the sheep and the goats and the other herbivores are so similar to horses, makes me have a special there's more of an emotional attachment I have to those types of animals than I do others. So, for example, I'm much more upset about the death of a horse or a cow or a sheep or a goat or deer than I am about the death of a dog or a cat, or whether they're wild or domesticated. But I realize these are emotional distinctions. But there is one part of it that's not purely just emotional. It's also the fact that some animals are herbivores, and so they don't go and torture and kill other animals, whereas others are carnivores, and so in the wild, yeah, they will go and kill and rip the flesh off of the animals while they're still alive and conscious, and they die very painfully. Getting eaten by a lion or hyena or tiger or bear or whatever out in the wild, that's got to be one of the most painful ways to die ever. And so I don't like carnivores. I'll be honest, I don't like carnivores. But it's very bizarre to me that it's always the herbivores, the ones that can't defend themselves because they don't have any weapons, claws, or teeth really to defend themselves with, that are the ones that humans decide to eat. Well, there are exceptions, because there are people in China and other places who eat cats and dogs too. But then again, the kind of domesticated dogs and cats that they're eating are not the strong ones. They're the weak ones, the domesticated ones that, once again, humans bred and made them super small so that they're weak and helpless. It's so dumb what humans do. I mean, well, take the Chihuahua and the Mini Poodle, and I'm like, come on, these dogs would never survive out in the wild. That's just another example of selective breeding that humans do. They try to breed the smallest dogs, or the biggest dogs, or the fastest dogs, or the weirdest looking dogs. And see, this is very important, and I don't want to get too sidetracked because I want to end this video soon. But the fact that artificial selection works, the fact that humans can breed the dogs and cats and the horses with the traits they like to get their babies to have those same traits and breed them to be what humans want them to be, the very fact that artificial selection works proves that natural selection also works out in the wild. And so that's how I came to understand natural selection and evolution. That's how I came to understand that. So that's one very important thing that I wanted to mention. And another point that I want to end this video with, and is very important, my friend Jamie, he's often pointed out that if this world was created by some kind of God, then that God, if like if you're a creationist who believes in God, then that God would have had to design the system of predator and prey, meaning that he designed these animals with these sharp teeth that painfully kill these other animals. And that is why WSD has often said that God is an asshole. If there's a God, God's an asshole. And I had a really fun talk with Jamie and WSD about that, you know, and that's just an obvious fact that can't be ignored. To think that this world is the product of some design is to say that there's some sadistic creator who must enjoy watching these animals suffer by being eaten alive, not only by the other animals, but also by the humans, who are the worst carnivores on the planet, except those who have gone vegetarian and vegan, you know? So anyway, that's what I wanted to say about that. But I started out the video with showing off the art I was working on, but then I had a few things to say anyway, and I was going to talk to Pawful about this, but since he's not feeling well, then I'll end this now, and then I'll have to do a hangout another time with Pawful. But anyway, since I had a day off and I had some time, I wanted to record this. So anyway, I hope you enjoy, and leave your comments